Hi there, I'm Rob from Harmony Entertainment, and today we're going to be continuing our series again of learning 10 different guitar chords in under 5 minutes, and today we're going to be looking at G chords. This is the 5th video in our little series as well, so far we've looked at 10 different D chords, 10 different A chords, 10 different C chords, and then the last one, 10 different E chords. So today, 10 different G chords as well. So by the end of this lesson, we will have covered 50 different guitar chords. So if you've been following this series, then hopefully your chord knowledge has vastly improved over the past few weeks. And as always, we're going to try and do it in under 5 minutes where possible. Sometimes we might go over a little bit, but the reason I try to do it pretty quickly is just to show you and demonstrate all the different sounds that you can get when you play the chords back to back. You can really hear the differences between them. And as always, I like to demonstrate that the differences between one chord to the next might not be a huge difference in what you do on the guitar. It might be as simple as just taking one finger off the fretboard or moving one finger up or down a fret. Something like that can completely change your chord and just give you that different sound that you're after. So anyway, let's grab the guitar and check out 10 different G chords. So here we go, and as always, we're gonna get the timer going straight away and let's get into this. So firstly, let's look at the first chord, which is gonna be a G major chord, nice and simple. Well, I say it's nice and simple, it's nice and common, very, very common chord. It's in a lot of songs, G major. Probably going to be one of the first chords you learn, or it definitely should be anyway. So we play that by going on the 3rd fret of the high E, 3rd fret of the 2nd string as well, which isn't essential. Sometimes people don't do that one, but I recommend to do that one as well with your 3rd finger. Then 2nd fret on the 5th string and 3rd fret on the top here, the top E, the low E, to get a G major, and you're going to play all 6 strings. G major, awesome sounding chord. So then moving on, all you're going to do is take off your first finger from that 2nd fret there and play the same 6 strings, but you've changed your chord slightly to a G sus2, G suspended 2nd chord. And the notes that really sort of stand out in that one are these top strings, these low strings here, to get that sort of tone there. It's very slightly different from the normal G major. That's the tone that you're looking for in that one. And then for a G sus4 chord, that's what we're going to do next. Lift your 2nd finger down a string and then put your 1st finger on the top. And again play all 6 strings. So we're on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, 5th string, 2nd string and 1st string. And that's a G suspended 4. So we've got major, sus2, sus4. Awesome chords so far. So next, let's look at a G7 chord. So we're going to play the 1st fret on the high E string, and we're going to play the 2nd fret on the 5th string. So that's a bit of a stretch and a bit of a gap between those strings, and then the 3rd fret on the 6th string. We're going to play all 6 strings. I've said before, you've probably heard me say this if you watch my other videos, which you hopefully will have as well, and they'll link below as I said earlier. So that's a G7, Beatles chords, I like to call them anyway. And we can move on from the G dominant 7, which, 7 chords are dominant chords unless they specify their major or minor, but this one doesn't specify its major or minor, so that is just G7, which is a dominant chord. So we're going to move our 1st finger up a fret. So we're on the 2nd fret with our 1st finger, and the other 2 stayed the same, and that's going to give us a G major 7. Major 7s have a really unique quality in my opinion. I enjoy them, but I don't know many songs that actually use them myself. I've only used them in a couple. Maybe I need to play about more with the major 7s and see what I can come up with. Anyway, after major 7, we've got a G add 9 chord. So we're going to play the 1st fret on the high E and the 1st fret on the 6th string. 6th is a hard word to say sometimes. We're going to do that, but we're going to put our 1st finger down on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Sorry, I'm trying to get my necklace not to hit my guitar. There we go, that's a G add 9. I love add 9 chords. They sound great. And the notes that really stand out in that chord are the low E, obviously, the 3rd string, and the 2nd string. Those notes sound awesome when you play those in a bit of an arpeggio or a sequence. But that's a G add 9. So now let's look at a G major 6 chord. So this one's going to be a bit of a funky shape, but we're going to give it a go even. So we're going to play the 6th string on the 3rd fret with our 2nd finger. Then we're going to play the 2nd fret, on the 4th string. So 6th string, 3rd fret, 4th string, 2nd fret. And then we're going to play the 2nd fret, 3rd fret even with our on the second string, 3rd fret with our 3rd finger, if I can get my words out. And then we're going to put our little finger down on the 3rd string, on the 4th fret, to get a G major 6 chord. Really interesting one, really cool chord. And then what we're going to do is if you lift your 3rd finger up a string, keep it on the same fret, and then put your little finger underneath that on the 3rd fret as well, on the 2nd string now. That's going to give us a G minor 6 chord. I think minor chords, minor 6 even sound really jazzy in my opinion. Got 20 seconds left. Can we do this? We have 2 more chords. G minor next, a normal G minor chord. So we're going to play the 3rd fret on the 6th string, and the 1st fret on the string below it on the 5th string, and then we're only going to play the lowest 4 strings. We're not going to play all 6 because it won't sound right. We've just passed 5 minutes, but we've got 9 so far, so we get 1 more in a second. But yeah, I just want to explain that G minor a bit more. We don't want to play all 6 strings because it won't sound right. So if you want to play a nice easy G minor, just play the 3rd fret of the lowest E string and then the 1st fret of the 5th string, and just play the lowest 4 strings together. To get a G minor, being really careful not to get the high strings in there as well. And lastly, 1 more chord, nice and easy to end on. We've got a G5 chord, which is just a G power chord. If you've ever heard of 5 chords before, or power chords, they're the same thing. Power chord is a bit of a nickname, and we're going to play that by playing the 3rd fret on the 6th string and the 5th fret on the 5th string. And that's all we're going to do, is just play just those 2 strings as well. Again, we're not doing this. We're just going to play just these 2 strings because that's what you do in a power chord. We're playing the 3rd fret, 6th string, and 5th fret on the 6th string. And that's a normal power chord shape that we can just move about to play loads of cool things. That sort of thing, but we're looking at the G one today, so that's the one that's rooted from the 3rd fret. Power chords, 5 chords, are usually only 2 note chords, which is a root and a 5th. So the 3rd note is our root note, and the 5th one there is on the 5th fret with our little finger. You can play that with your 3rd finger as well if you find that easier, so 1st finger and 3rd finger. But I like to play with my 1st finger and my little finger. So let's recap those very quickly. So we've got a normal G major. Take your 1st finger off for a G sus2. Very subtle change, that one, but it is a change. And then we've got G sus4. So we're on the 3rd fret of all of the strings except the middle 2. And then a G7, which is 1st finger on the 1st fret of the high E, 2nd fret of the 5th string, and 3rd fret of the 6th string. Little finger's not doing anything, but I can't really get it out of the way. For a G7 chord, G7, G dominant 7, move your 1st finger up a fret to the 2nd fret to get a G major 7. And then for a G add 9, next we play the 3rd fret on the high E and low E, but press down on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string with our 1st finger to get a G add 9 chord. Really lovely sounding chord. And then for a G major 6, lift your 1st finger up, lift your 2nd finger up, lift your 1st finger up and lift your 3rd finger up, leave your 2nd one where it is, and then put your little finger down on the 4th fret of the 3rd string on that note to get a G major 6 chord. And then lift your 3rd finger up a string, leave it on the 3rd fret, and put your little finger on the 3rd fret on the string below that to get a G minor 6. Then for a normal G minor chord, there is a way of playing a G minor chord with all 6 strings, but we're not going to look at that yet because that involves doing what's called a bar chord. We're not talking about bar chords just yet, but we're going to play the 3rd fret on the 6th string and the 1st fret on the string below it on the 5th string. And we're going to play just the lowest 4 strings of the guitar. Lowest sound, not lowest location. For a G minor, interesting one. I like minor chords. And be careful on that one not to play all strings. We don't want that because it won't sound right. So just this. G minor, and lastly a G5, a G power chord. So just the 3rd fret on the lowest string and the 5th fret on the 5th string. And only play those 2 strings, don't play all of them. just the two that you're pressing down on. So there you go, there are 10 different G chords in just over 5 minutes in this video. We went over it a little bit. It happens sometimes. It's hard to get through 10 chords in 5 minutes when you're trying to explain them as well. But I hope you found this video interesting and I hope you learned some new chords, some interesting ones. But as I said, this is the 5th video in our little series, so that's 50 chords that we've talked about. So if you want to learn some more chords and you haven't seen our other videos yet in this little series, then check the description below and you'll find all the links there for those videos. So go and check those out as well. But 50 chords is a lot of chords. And if you're new to the guitar as well, then don't forget to check out our description below for our full beginner's guitar course, where you can find it on our website. So click that link in the description below and it'll take you right there. So make sure you check that out. So if you did enjoy the video, then don't forget to click the like button, click the subscribe button as well. I've been Rob and hopefully we'll see you in our next video. So thanks for watching.